Welcome everyone to another video, and today we are going to take a look at a team that I have had early success with in the Great League Remix, with Runerigus in the lead with the moveset Shadow Claw, Rock Tomb and Shadow Ball. Rock Tomb being able to debuff those flying types, and Shadow Ball for the nuke. And we have Umbreon as our safe swap with Snarl, Dark Pulse and Last Resort. There will be a couple of battles here that I used Foul Play before I switched up to Dark Pulse. Dark Pulse having a bit more damage output, which I feel like is required. Foul Play is good if you want to stall the time by just spamming charge moves, but I feel like Dark Pulse just gives you that additional edge to win the matchups, and Last Resort is preferred over something like over Psychic, just to give an additional coverage against other dark types, such as other Umbreons. And also the featured Pokemon for this video, Pangoro. Pangoro has access to Karate Chop, which has insane damage and energy generation, with Night Slash to give the boost chance, as well as close combat for the nukes versus normal types, dark types, as well as steel types. So going into the first battle here, we have Runerigus versus Alolan Sandslash, which I feel like is the biggest counter to Runerigus. So we immediately safe swap into the Umbreon to bait out hopefully their psychic type, or their fighting type. But here instead they have a Furiate, which is still very bad for Runerigus here. So we are going to try to win this switch as best as possible, because Furiate as well as Alolan Sandslash is very bad for our Runerigus. And here they decided to let this one go, and they come back with the Alolan Sandslash, which means that we have already set up our Pangoro for the win, because with their Alolan Sandslash running Shadow Claw, it will resist that damage, and the only damage will be coming from charge move. And here with two shields, we can keep it relatively healthy for the end game. Here we immediately swap out into Runerigus, and they have a Swampert in the back, so this game is still a bit iffy for our liking, but we will shield the first Hydro Cannon and throw a Rock Tomb to soften it up, to decrease their damage output. And at this point we will be able to tank the Hydro Cannon no problem, and they will need to shield the second attack as well in order to spam another Hydro Cannon. But instead we will immediately swap out to take care of the Alolan Sandslash and throw the close combat against the Swampert to win the game. So in the second game, we have a Primeape in the lead, which is fairly good still for us, but they immediately swap out into Frostlass, and we will go into Umbreon. So we go into Umbreon instead of Pangoro, because Umbreon will be able to tank the avalanches better than Pangoro. And here we will immediately throw the Last Resort. We will throw the Last Resort against this Primeape, and they will have to shield it, because there is a possibility that it could be Psychic. Should be super effective against this Primeape, and they will try to farm us all the way down. So here Runerigus will be able to tank the first Rage Fist. The first Rage Fist will always have to let it go, but instead of Rage Fist, they did have Night Slash, which is still problematic for us because they did have the boost during the first one. So we will have to expand the two shields in order to win this matchup. And here they have a Grumpig as their last mon, which is still very bad for us, because Grumpig has access to Shadow Ball as well as Dynamic Punch, and Dynamic Punch will do it super effective against our Pangoro. So we elected to just hopefully get to a Shadow Ball, which we do, and we are able to take out their Pokemons without showing Pangoro. And the next matchup we will have against Swalot, another Pokemon that has increased in popularity this season. And we decided to throw on the CMP tie, knowing that Swalot has a very low attack stat, and and a lot of Pokemon will be able to CMP tie and win it against it. And here we elected to throw on the CMPTI again, and we will be met by one of the worst counters for our backline in the form of Togekiss, with that Fairy Wind being super effective versus both Umbreon and Pangoro especially. But for some reason this Togekiss is running Aerial Ace instead of Dazzling Gleam, which I find is very good for us but is very bad for them. You would generally want to run Psyshock as well as Dazzling Gleam on your Togekiss for that coverage and for that stat damage, but instead they have Aerial Ace, which they will not be able to flip this Umbreon matchup in a normally safe matchup for them, and they decided to go for Trailblaze for that boost. And here, even though they do have a shield advantage, we can just spam a Night Slashes in order to take the win, because Sucker Punch will be resisted and we will be dealing super effective damage in return. And here we can go for the close combat to just knock him out. We don't want to take a risk of another Night Slash with a double boosted Sucker Punch coming our way. And here in the next battle, I think it's the 4th battle now, they will have Vespiquen in the lead, and they caught our Rock Tomb on the Ferret, which we don't mind actually, because Vespiquen does not have any moves that can threaten Runerigus, and Ferret being debuffed means that our Umbreon will be able to tank a lot more moves and stay relatively healthy if they come back in with the Vespiquen, and at least gives us a chance to throw one charge move against them, which is ideally what we want to do, just to chip it a little bit lower, because they did catch our Power Gem earlier. And here the Dark Pulse does do relatively good amount of damage, about 30% of their health, which we need because Runerigus will need to end it with a charge move if possible. And here X-Scissor, you can see it does only about 20% damage, and they have a Pangoro in the back, which will be problematic here for us if not for the double shields that we have. But they also have 2 shields, so we can sort of play around that with our own Pangoro, and because they are already debuffed, we can just immediately go for Karate Chops to take them out. So even if they want to swap out in this instance, we still have a shield to play around with to take them out, and we will outspam them to that next X-Scissor hopefully to take them out. And here we decided to just swap just in case if they want to throw the X-Scissor, and here they decided to farm just about to the next X-Scissor, but since both needed one more fast move, we got the boost and we from the CMPTI and win the game. And for the last battle, we have a Golbat in the lead. We try to go for another, we try to throw before they get to a Shadow Ball just to debuff them, and here they get to a Shadow Ball, but we will just shield. We want our Runerigus to be as healthy as possible, because it's quite advantageous for us to keep Runerigus as healthy as possible, because for in this instance we can let go of the Icy Wind, and we will be able to get to another charge move that will be taking this Poliwrath out. And in this scenario, because Poliwrath is already out of the equation and they have Jellicent as well as the very low health Golbat in the back, it is safe for our Umbreon and Pangoro to sweep the endgame and win this battle. So let me know how you guys doing in the Great League Remix. Are you guys actually playing Great League Remix, or are you guys just sticking to the classic Great League? Because some people just like to use the restricted Pokemon because it's just so good, and Great League Remix hinders that. But some people like the spice that the other Pokemon that they are able to bring in the Great League Remake. So let me know which one you guys prefer. And with that is the end of the video, and I'll see you in the next one.